Today in VR, there is lots to talk about. One, we have the Walkabout Lair. That just came out today, the brand new course, and me and Samson have played it for about a week now, and we'll go through some light spoilers. We won't go through anything heavy, so for example, we haven't played the Fox Hunt, so we won't be talking about that. Elsewhere, I've been trying out the Pro Swing Club attachment. This is by HelloReal. They're in partnership with Walkabout. There's a brand new version of this accessory that's coming out in August, and you can pre-order now. But I'll go through my thoughts on the pretty much exact same model, just without the Walkabout design. And then finally, at the end of this podcast, for a good 50 minutes, is the main part of the podcast, to be honest, we have Nick from Disc Golf Hyzer Flip. This is an App Lab game, and Samson sits down with him and talks to him about the game and also his love of VR. Now, Nick has been so kind to offer us 3 codes for this game. If you want to be in a chance to winning these 3 codes in the giveaway, just head over to our Discord channel, which is linked in the description below. Go into our giveaway channel and type in what you love about disc golf. And then Samson will pick, by the time the next podcast airs, next Thursday, he will pick 3 winners who will get the game. And then a quick thing just before we head into the podcast, Dave, who is our Patreon here at Let's Talk Oculus, he is doing a big screen night, 3 nights actually. He is hosting Austin Powers International Man of Mystery, Austin Powers The Spy That Shagged Me, and Austin Powers Gold Member, all on big screen on July 23rd, 24th, and 25th at 9 p.m. Eastern Time for all 3 of those times. And also, if you come in, Dave will up his Patreon pledge by $2 per person who attends this movie night. So just come in for like 15 minutes if you want, just to say hi, and that will help the podcast out a lot. But thanks, Dave, for hosting those nights, and thanks for everyone listening to this intro. Now, let's talk Oculus. Let's Talk Oculus, a VR podcast, is proudly sponsored by the good folks at Patreon. If you want to support the show, join us on patreon.com/Let's Talk Oculus. What's up, Oculus nerds? Welcome back to Let's Talk Oculus, episode 95. I would say, your co-host for today, and joined by the regular host now, Samson. How you doing?
Oh boy, I am doing well. We have a good interview ahead. I got into a good amount of VR this past week, and I've ran a VR camp, and that was pretty fun too. How you doing, man?
I'm doing well. I'm cooking. I mean, I've now got an AC for this room, but I can't turn it on whilst we're recording because otherwise it's super loud. But I'm cooking right now. But yeah, I'm okay. I'm not too bad. Got some more Walkabout in, which we will talk about. Obviously, this episode is more to do with the guest that we had on. We had Nick from Disc Golf Hyzer Flip, and you spoke to him for a while. You had a good conversation?
Yeah, we did. We went on. I at first, around like the 15-minute mark, I was like, I'm not sure we're gonna have much to talk about, and then before I knew it, it was like 45 minutes in.
Yeah. It just flowed. That's great to hear. So that will be on the tail end of this podcast. Before we let you go to that interview, we're going to go through a few things, like what we've been playing and such. But first, Samson, we have a new Patreon. You know this person, right?
Yeah. Woo. Thank you very much, Guido.
Guido joined in the Patreon this week, so thank you so much for your support. We're excited to have you. He's also joined into the Discord and on the special private Patreon Discord, which you can only get if you're a patron. So if you want to come and see these private chats, what's going on there, just even at the dollar level, you can head over into that Discord.
Oh yeah, and I'm not even too picky in that I'm pretty lazy about removing it. So even if you're a patron for 1 month, you're getting access for at least until I realize you shouldn't have access. Yeah, it's basically lifetime access.
It's basically lifetime access. Okay, perfect. Samson, I think it's best to kick this off with asking you what you've been playing, because I feel like it's been a lot.
Yes. It has been quite a bit. I will start off with Synth Riders. They had a DLC of 10 songs. I think 5 of them are free. I don't know. I bought it immediately. I'd say there's 1 I'm not too into. 9 of them I freaking love.
Oh, amazing. Freaking love as well. Like we all heard that freaking, that's something special.
Yeah. They're pretty good. I was I was top 20 in them right now, but not many people have played them.
Yeah, not bragging, not bragging.
Blue Monday was probably my favorite. But in addition to the songs, I got into some multiplayer synth riders with some folks over from the Party Chat Discord, and it was so fun.
Yeah.
And there was a kid we ended up playing with who just joined in, and he was really good. He was impressively good. He's like, I kind of like playing on Master. I was like, all right, we doing this.
Okay. And
We
did you go
doing it.
toe to toe with him? Did you beat him, or did he beat you?
Oh,
or-
I smoked him, but he did very well. He did very
Hey, look,
well.
anyone
Yeah.
who can play Master is still elite. Like no matter what.
Yeah, exactly. And he chose one of the Lindsey Sterling songs that was really tough.
Big
So
fan
yeah,
of her song.
it was impressive. It was fun. I think I might try to hop in there more, and in the multiplayer, that is, not in the game, because I play all the.
Did you play during like their social events on the weekend, or was it just?
No, I did not. They did do a birthday party on Saturday, but I didn't take part in that.
Fair enough.
Also, speaking of Saturday, I got into VR Giants with Amelia, and VR Giants is a asymmetric game. I was the one in VR. She played the platformer aspect, and we did remote play.
Oh, cool.
Played for about, I think total we've hit about just over 2.25 hours. So we probably played about 90 minutes or so.
Mm-hmm.
And there was one level where we got stuck, and essentially I had to put her on, or she had to get on an ice cube that was all slippery on all sides, so she could slip off of it. And then I had to push her or get her to this other side. And every time I pushed her, she would like overcompensate and fall off, or I would push not enough and it wouldn't go far enough. Eventually, I picked up the ice cube and I just threw it as far as I could, and that worked. So
This sounds
to
fun.
each their own for solving these puzzles.
This sounds fun.
Yeah, it's pretty fun, and there's definitely a few mechanics. So the ice one obviously involved ice. I won't spoil the other mechanics.
Definitely a
There's
Steam
desert
game,
level.
right? I'm assuming.
Yeah. It's a Steam one.
They need to bring more of those kind of experiences to standalone Quest, where you could have someone playing flat screen. And I don't know if it's more of a thing for maybe PlayStation, where you can have the TV
Controllers,
on,
yeah.
and then someone can be on a controller controlling what's on the TV, and then you can be in the VR. I don't know if that could work, but yeah, they need to do more of that. Like a Jackbox.
I love them.
Jackbox kind of games, right? Where you can be in VR, maybe even play them with other people in VR, but then some people can play them 2D, or not 2D, just outside the VR, something like that.
Yeah, there aren't too many. I can think of the Do You Copy game where the first level is kind of glitched. Acron, which I haven't played. People told me it's not that great for the people on the phone, so I've just stayed away. It is in my library, but haven't played it yet. And then the one where there's all that reading, where you gotta defuse the bomb. I forget what it's called. But basically the person in VR is defusing a bomb. Everybody else has to read the
instructions.
They're purposely convoluted.
I've played a Jackbox game like that as well.
Like that, yeah.
I actually played that the other day. But that was just on PS5. It was on the second one, but they take ages. But they are fun when you have a group of people, and so confusing.
It's fun. I generally don't want to read that much when I'm trying to, I'm not going to play that one that often, especially if you're having a few drinks. You don't want to be reading.
Yeah, that's fair. Anything else?
Oh yeah, we're about a quarter of the way through there, Dan.
Just keep rolling. This is your podcast today.
Towns, I've been in a lot of VR lately.
Nice,
I don't know.
nice.
It's all my free time. Townsman VR. All right, so this one is like the world city builder type of deal, where you're in charge of all these townsmen. I've been enjoying taking that island by island, so you'll sort of complete. Right, I got to be still in like the tutorial, but because they're still teaching me things, but they're slowly getting bigger, and each one's take. Honestly, I lose track of time. I'm not sure how long each one takes. It takes a nice decent VR session, and I'm like, all right, I'll continue this in a day or two.
Yeah. And
so they're good breaking points. But yeah, it's really relaxing. I'm enjoying it.
Perfect. Yeah, I've always wanted to play that one, actually. They always look good. I really like the art style. of that one especially. I remember when it came out, it's like more of like a cartoony kind of art style, but
Yeah.
it's kind of nice.
And I'm accidentally hitting my townsmen all the time, so you just hear, oh, and they're laying on the ground. It's pretty funny.
You're a bad god.
Yeah, I'm not great. And then, speaking of updates, got into Breachers. They had a new update, a new game mode, a new voting screen type of deal. That didn't change much. And then changed a few prices and other balancing issues, if you will. However, the mics also broke. I hope they fix that problem. We were stuck using Discord. But the new game mode is capturing and holding points. It's much more fast paced. And instead of in the breaching mode where you die and that's it, like then you're a camera until the next round, this one's more of a deathmatchy type of
so you can respawn and such. That's fun.
Yeah.
That game has so much potential. It can keep going for a long time.
Yeah. I really enjoy it. I like it. The like basically weekly game I have going. That's a 1 or 2 nights a week. Is all I need of this.
Get your fill. Get your fill.
Yeah, it gets my fill. I don't need to be playing the same game every day.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I prefer the slower pace of the breaching, but I got to get used to the new game mode too. It's nice to start with that game mode. It's kind of fast paced, gets you into it, get a feel for the guns again, and then go into the breaching.
Interesting.
That's the game plan.
I'm assuming we're halfway into this list now.
Yeah. We are about halfway in.
Nice.
I started watching Godzilla versus King Kong or King Kong versus Godzilla. I don't know the order of it in 3D in the Skybox app, which is kind of like big screen or whatever.
Yeah, I remember that.
I'm like 45 minutes in. It's pretty good. I take movies in segments.
I think I influenced Skybox to drop their price because early on.
I remember your video.
Yeah,
early on, one of your big ones that blew up.
Probably one of the big ones at the start of my YouTube journey. It was like just what to watch movies on your Quest, and I said Skybox, and I put them as second because I like a lot about Skybox, but I think they were charging $15. And I was like, that's way too expensive because it used to be free, I think, at once upon a time. But I was like, that's way too expensive and such. And they commented on the channel, and then now it's much, much cheaper. I don't know how much it is, but it's definitely not 15.
I'm looking up right now for you. It is $9.99.
Yeah,
USD.
Shaved $5 off right there. After I told him it was way too expensive. It happened like soon. I don't know if it was me, but it was just quite funny how it just impacted. Because I put big screen at top. Just because, sure, there's not much customization, but it's free and there's lots of fun environments and it works really well for bringing people in and such.
Yeah, Skybox is not multiplayer.
No. I think even then,
I do find it easier. I find the UI and everything a bit easier to use, especially if I'm just going in to watch a movie.
Yeah.
But I do think big screen is probably more customizable and ekes them out.
I agree. I think, I agree. Now that the big screen has like the proper, they have the theaters, but they have like all the lighting, right, that comes off the screen onto the edges of the wall and makes you feel like you're in the theater. That part.
And the fact you can move around. So Skybox has 3 settings: front, middle, or back.
Yeah.
And there's times where I'm like, I kind of want to be in between these two. Can
you not completely adjust it? Oh wait, in big screen is what you said.
No, in Skybox.
Oh, I see. And you can't. I thought you could move it in and out.
I mean, there's 3 options. I don't see a way to like choose my seat, so to say.
Interesting. You might have to revisit my YouTube video from 2021 and see if
it does have pass through. That was weird though. I didn't like it.
No. Would you think if the pass through was Quest 3 pass through? Would you watch it like that?
Yeah.
Or would you prefer
I'd at least give it more of a try?
I still feel like I'd prefer it all in VR because then you're like fully immersed in the movie kind of thing. But I don't know. What if you're holding like popcorn and you need to find your drink or something like? I guess.
The thing I didn't like about it was that it was so disorienting seeing a grainy black and white right next to a screen.
Yeah.
And you have to have your lights on to have tracking. So then it's bright. Like it's very bright, right? It'd be different if I'd shut my lights off and
fair enough.
could then figure out how to get into it. I
Yeah,
don't know.
I'm wondering even if that's going to work with the like tracking, and it'll be like, oh, we've lost tracking because it's so dark. Yeah, let's see. I wonder if there's a way though that they could dim the pass-through mode. Wonder if that's possible.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
That might be too advanced, but anyway, continue.
Yeah. So I also last week at camp there was a camper who was really into chess. And the last day, I never actually got him into chess VR, just ran out of time. But I told him, I was like, yo, there's this, you can actually play this game in VR. And that got me to play on my own a couple games this weekend. I won both on intermediate.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And let's see. All right, I'll leave Walkabout for the last thing. So I play tested this game called Snow Wars on Saturday for about an hour. It's a snowball fighting PvP game. It was shown in the Upload VR showcase. That's how I discovered it.
Yeah.
There's guns, there's throwing, there's some building, there's 3 game modes, capture totems, which you go find a totem, you bring it to your side, or you can steal the other sides. There's like a put out fires mode, which is sort of like capture the flag kind of. You got to go to the other team's side and throw snowballs at the fire to put it out.
That's fun.
And then a team deathmatch. It is early access for sure. It felt okay. It feels kind of like Rec Room Paintball, but with snow and snow environment. Throwing is sporadic. It's a challenge to throw, especially with people dodging. But the guns are pretty cool. I did enjoy hitting people with throws because of how hard it was, though. And it's an auto. It's like a headshot, like auto if you're throwing. Whereas with the guns, you got to get a lot of hits.
Yeah, I guess it's very satisfying when you nail somebody with the snowball.
With the snowball.
Yeah.
And you can launch that thing, dude. You can just it's going what feels like hundreds.
So is that on App Lab or
it's in early access. You got to join their Discord to get in. I'm sure they're just if you want to play test a game and get in there, be a part of it. I gave them a bit of feedback to their Discord afterwards, and nice. It is Actum Games, ACTUM Games.
Actum.
Just find them somewhere, and there's links to get in the. I posted in our Discord actually to get in the
perfect
early access. Yeah,
perfect.
And then Walkabout. You want to start?
Yeah, because that's all I've been playing. I've played it a few times actually. All right.
I like that we both played it for the first time with Dave.
Oh, did you play with Dave too? Yeah, we played at separate occasions then. Yeah, so Walkabout Lair. As you're listening to this, it is out right now. In fact, I just realized I can't post this early to the Patreon.
Yeah, I already told them.
Okay, perfect. All right, so we have, obviously, once again, we got easy and hard. I think the best way to do this is just to go through initial thoughts first and then kind of break it down a bit. So I will go first. With the initial thoughts, I really found the ball disintegrating because it's called laser layers, so there's lasers on every single hole and you have to try and avoid them. I didn't understand what will happen with the ball, and we can kind of speculated last time, but I really love how it disintegrates. It's so satisfying, and
the sound
is fantastic. And Dave mentioned something when I was playing is the momentum continues with the ball, so it does make it feel like really realistic.
So if you hit it soft when it splits, it's not going to go very far. But if you slam it and it splits, it's going to
the split just goes all over the place. It's got like proper physics attached to it, and I'm not going to lie, I've played this a few times now over both of them, like the easy and the hard, and I found the easy one actually harder than the hard one.
Really?
Yeah, I've got much better scores on the hard one, and I just don't understand why.
That's funny.
But yeah, I really like the course. It's a fun course. I don't think it's the best course, but it's nowhere near like the quote unquote worst course. There's not really a worst course on there, but it's not really a bad course. It's just a solid entry. It's a really solid entry that I'll definitely have on my rotation.
Yeah,
I'm really
yeah.
enjoying it. How about you?
I really like it. It felt gimmicky in the same way that Upside Down was, but more normal mini golfy,
That makes perfect
right?
sense.
Yeah. In that it's the only course with Upside Down that has something challenging on every single hole,
True.
right? They have lasers, much like Upside Down has the gravity on every, whether or not you have to use them or like avoid them or whatever. It's on every hole.
That's true. Some of the courses which have like specific mechanics per se, like the
Yeah,
wind mechanics in Kyoto Valley, that only pops up in the back nine, right?
exactly.
And so yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true. Did you really like
Um,
the aesthetics of like the course on?
Yo, I love it. I love it. I rode the monorail for some time. I tried to get on the boat, but it left the dock right as I teleported to it, and I was like, I'm not waiting for that thing.
Yeah, that's fair.
I'll catch you another time. Shoot, I mean, you're gonna, if you play this course, you're gonna find it. So it's not. I'm not gonna say this is a spoiler, but that beach ball is so much fun.
Yeah, the beach ball is so much fun, and plus you get the beach ball somewhere else. Actually, I don't want to say it,
Yeah,
but the beach ball does
yeah,
pop up somewhere else as well. Um, yeah, I don't want to spoil too much, and plus I haven't done the fox hunts yet because
yeah. I haven't
I
done those either.
don't. Even if we did, I feel like we wouldn't talk about them yet. Maybe that's something for the next episode because I want to let
Yeah,
people enjoy them. I found the ball hunt.
I can't speak to the balls either. I've only found like 3 or 4 of
Yeah,
them.
okay, fair enough. Me and Dave found like at least 10 on the first one just because our scores were so horrible. It was like, we need to find the balls because we're not gonna. At least mine was. Like, actually, I think you did okay. But yeah, the balls were just fairly placed. They were not, it wasn't too hard, but it wasn't too easy. Yet to find all of them, but I'm pretty close to be honest. In terms of what the actual balls look like, I mean, you can just be the judge of what you like. There was a few in there that I've actually now chosen to be my ball. I really like balls with, really like balls, really like golf balls with a lot of colors, like with a lot of like with the rainbow kind of colors, kind of all that
Mm-hmm.
stuff, right? But I like stuff that are not just solid colors. And there's quite a few. There's a nice variety in there. So I think when it comes to the balls, it's really solid. Um, in terms of the aesthetic, the hard mode threw me because I was really confused. Didn't know what they were going to do with the hard mode because the way they worded the press release, it was like, oh, this you've got to stop the evil robot and such like that. I was like, oh, it's going to be quite dark, El Dorado kind of like dark and Lair. And I think we can talk about this because we'll talk about the game, but then next week we'll talk about the Fox Hunt probably. But it just turns into a science fair. it's just
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
just a fun science fair, and then you have all the different posters and for all the experiments and such, and then you've got the robot drones like delivering champagne glasses all around.
Yeah, they flying all around. Yeah, they're cool.
Yeah, another cool sound. They're really good with their sound design. I think I mentioned it when Edward was on the show, probably both times, but their sound design is really satisfying. The pipe one is probably the best one. In the whole game with how
Yeah.
the pipe sound when it's doing. Oh, it's
All
beautiful.
right, come on.
Even just going into the water, it's so satisfying. But there is something I did want to mention, which I thought was very funny. When me and Dave got into the course for the first time, we obviously had some early access on it. And David is our like cameraman when it comes to any walkabout things, so that's why he's in there too. But essentially,
People knew he was legitimate, dude. People
I
knew.
just wanted to make sure he's not getting special privileges for anything. But the funny thing is that the first hole we both intentionally hit the lasers because we just wanted to see. Like
Same.
he hit the laser and was like, "Whoa!" And then I hit the laser just because it's like, "Oh, that's so much fun" and such. But then I was like, I
Yeah.
said to Dave halfway through the course, I was like, who are we to think that we need to burn a ball to see the lasers when we hit the lasers so many times throughout the whole course?
Yeah, but you didn't know how many there'd be.
That's true. Yeah, we had no idea. But yeah,
No, I didn't actually intentionally do it. I tried to miss it, but I did hit it on the first hole.
that's fair. How were your scores for the easy and hard mode? And you remember, or like what
Both,
average?
I don't remember exactly. Both under par. I believe it was -7 and a 5, maybe.
That's impressive. I still haven't got mine.
Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it wasn't under par. I think it was. I think it
My
was.
easy's been average of +14. I don't know if I'm just getting the timing completely wrong, but
Did you say +14?
yeah, it's pretty
Jimmy
bad.
Cricket.
But then my hard is like +1.
Which hole do you get stuck on?
Oh, a few of them. A few of them. I think sometimes I get, maybe it's me just being a bit lazy with the timing and just like
It is
rushing
all about timing. It's all about timing and pacing, right? You have to hit it unless you don't want to deal with the timing immediate. Like you have to hit it close to the laser and then go.
It's it's all about timing and pacing for sure, especially the final hole on both of them, which I thought they were very easy once you figure out what you need to do. And I won't say what the strategy is, but I thought that's one thing. The 18th hole was cool, but were just very easy. But sometimes they are, right? Sometimes that's what Walkabout does. The 18th hole, sometimes it's challenging. I think of Gardens of Babylon. I feel like that's pretty challenging. But then
you could overthink it the first time you do it. I think
for the laser lair one,
for
sure, yeah, for sure. Did you see the cool storytelling with the robot?
The storytelling?
Well, not so much
I'm not
storytelling,
sure.
but it's just in the
like the post 18 effect.
Yeah, so in the
is
easy
cool
mode,
on both of them.
In the easy mode, they're like building the robot or like fixing it up and such.
Fixing up. Yeah.
And then on the last one, it's like it's all done, and then it shoots the laser and such, which is fun.
Yeah.
So you were gonna say something, or
no? I just like both those effects.
Yeah, fair enough.
That's
moving on, but staying with Walkabout. I played the Walkabout with this club as I'm showing on the screen.
Ooh, yeah.
This is for those of you listening, this is the HelloReal Pro Swing, which has the grip attachment. So when I have my controller in here, I can press the trigger and it's gripped.
Oh my god.
And it also has the weight.
They did it. They solved that problem.
Yeah. They definitely did solve the problem. So full disclosure here, HelloReal actually sent me this. I did a video on their older club about 2 months back, and then they wanted me to see the new club. And the reason why I'm just demonstrating this on here is because there's a special edition Walkabout version that's coming out in August. It's pretty pricey, it was $80 Canadian, so I don't know what that is it's probably like $56 US.
Yeah,
but it's basically the exact same thing, but the HelloReal grip is a Walkabout fun inspired grip.
So my Pro controllers would fit in this?
Yes. As your alarm goes off.
Sorry for my alarm. I got to clock out of work. Fourth wall breaking.
That's fine. Yes, these are compatible with both the Quest Pro and the Quest 2. And it's not confirmed because I don't know the shape of the Quest 3 controller, but it might be the case that it would be able to fit. But if not, HelloReal do, or they're coming out with like a PlayStation VR 2 adapter, so you can pop this off and put the PSVR. So I'm sure they'll be able to do that with Quest as well.
One more question about it, Dan. How well does the grip to putt work?
It works perfectly. I should have put the controller in, but because it looks a bit weird how it's doing it.
Yeah, it looks super weird, dude.
I should have put the controller in, but basically when the controller's in, it pops the grip to put out up here. So you just press it a little bit and then it moves. As you can see, it's moving quite a lot. It works perfectly. Like, I'm not one to play with grip to putt. I don't bother with it, not for any reason.
Damn it.
But I don't order it yet. Don't order it yet. But it's good. There are a few pros and cons. I am working on a YouTube video to come out very soon. Going through the pros and cons. One of the cons, though, I can tell you here is that it comes with this complete package, which is with the weight, which makes it around 500 grams, I think, with the controller in. But I prefer it without the weight. You can take it off, and it's much nicer when it's a bit lighter for Walkabout because it gets heavy when you're just holding
Yeah,
it.
because it's the whole thing. Yeah.
It gets pretty heavy. And because you're not like, it's not like a golf putter where you're resting it on the ground, right? You're always lifting it up. It actually gets pretty heavy. It's good for Golf Plus if you're doing full swings because it feels good. But with Walkabout, it just gets too heavy in my opinion. And I wish there was an option where you could get it without the weight to save like $10 or so with it. So yeah, I will talk about it more on my YouTube video, but it's around $59 US, I think.
Dan. All right, where do you buy it?
On the HelloReal website, you can pre-order it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
On the HelloReal.
And I thought it was going to be on the Mighty Coconut website, so I went there. There's a new poster, a Lost Ball poster.
Fun. That's fun. No, this one is directly on the HelloReal website. Most of their stuff is 3D printed, but the club itself is like full on iron or stainless steel, or I don't know, whatever the metal is.
I have the old version.
That's this one is much better than the old version just because the grip is nice. It's nice to have the grip. It doesn't feel exactly like a golf grip, but it is very grippy. But yeah, I wouldn't say run out and buy it. I'd say definitely stay tuned for that video, which I'll go more in depth.
They're going to run out of them, Dan. I need the Walkabout one.
Yeah, that's true. They do have the Walkabout one, which is a pre-order now. Yeah, you could always pre-order it, and then you could always like cancel it or return it after you see this video that comes out.
It's $60 USD.
So it's
however you can pay in 4 interest-free installments.
So here's the problem, right? And this will turn it off for a lot of people who are outside the States. Shipping is very expensive. So like shipping to Canada, I didn't buy this one, but I bought their old one as well. But I remember shipping was expensive, and I think if I bought the HelloReal Club to Canada, it would be like 100 Canadian dollars or something total. So I wouldn't recommend it for Canadians.
How does this? So you just jam the controller in there?
Yeah.
It doesn't. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, let me just grab the controller and then you can see it. So I'm gonna do a quick pause and then editing we'll see the controller. All right. So now I have the actual controller in, and basically you put it in here, and you can see obviously with the grip to put. And I just press it, and look how easy it is. People on the video, people on the audio, sorry, it's working.
All they hear is clicky. Yeah. That's proof.
I don't know if my mic will pick that up, but yeah.
Oh, I heard
you heard it. And how it works, if you've not seen my original video, is that you just put it in here, and then you use the strap, the OG Quest strap. You can see mine's not really white anymore. And then you just twist this 3D printed module, and it wraps it up. So it's really, really secure. I'll put that up on the video stream. But for those, there you go. That's more focused. But for those of you on the audio, if you just see the YouTube video, you'll be able to see all the playtest VR YouTube video that I'll put out.
Or Spotify.
Yeah, or Spotify. But yeah, it works perfectly, like exactly what you want. It's just pricey. That's all. It's just maybe a bit. It feels like it's a little bit too overpriced.
For those of you out there who haven't bought anything off HelloReal, there's apparently I just got it, a 15% off first time offer. You just have to sign up to their email list, and then you can just take yourself off that email list. And
you can use that for the pre-order for the Walkabout. So you can pre-order it now, and it comes out in August. So I think it's the second week of August. I think they had to delay it a little bit, but yeah. And it's officially with partnership with Mighty Coconut. It's a fun little, if you're into collecting things, it's a fun little collector's thing, you know. But
I don't collect anything.
No. Oh, of course, I didn't mention this. Actual performance with the Walkabout course. The good things about these golf clubs is that it just helps keep your putt straight. So like if you got a really long putt, you're making it more often with this attachment than you are without it, because having that small controller, which is quite light, you're easy to like wobble or anything like that when you're putting. Having something heavier, it's easier to keep it straight and keep it in motion, doing like a bit of a golf motion here. But what
use it for baseball.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, same thing.
Or that other game you guys play.
Cricket.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll talk about that more in there. Anything else on Walkabout for now?
No, Dan, but there's just one more thing. I forgot that I also got into playing some disc golf Hyzer flip.
Of course.
So I played some procedural generated course. I wanted, test out his new ground physics, but we'll get into that. And how is that for a transition?
That is perfect. In fact, let's just go straight into it now. So this is not, I'll be gone. But this is Samson and Nick talking about disc golf Hyzer flip. Thanks so much, Nick, for joining us on the show, and I hope everyone else enjoys the show. And we'll be back next week for a regular episode. But on to Samson and Nick.
Hey, we know public lobbies in VR games can be a bit toxic, feel a bit empty at times. That's why we created the Let's Talk Oculus Discord, a friendly community that you can join for multiplayer meetups, general VR chat, the game, and chat about VR, fitness motivation, and there's even a very impressive 3D printing channel. Join over 100 of our community members in the Let's Talk Oculus Discord for free. The link is right in the description.
Today we have the developer for disc golf, Hyzer Creek. Would you like to introduce yourself, Nick?
Yeah. My name is Nick. I developed this disc golf Hyzer flip. I named it after my favorite disc golf shot, where you flip the disc up and over and it comes back left. But yeah, thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for joining us. So for those of you who don't know, D-Max, one of our Patreon supporters, he actually bought this game for me. And it was like, yo, you got to hop in. I forget. I must have mentioned that I'm into disc golf. And yeah, so that's how I found you. D-Max
D-Max has been a big help on the games, making suggestions all around, making a little small community on the Discord we have. So I've been really appreciative of both him and your support during the early times in this game. It's pretty early on.
Yeah. Even though it is early on, I want to start off with saying a few things that I really love about the game, and then we'll talk a little bit about your history, and then more about the game.
Sounds good.
First of all, not to pat my own back, but the fist bumping, big fan.
Yeah. Oh, I loved getting that one in there. That's the small stuff that I can do pretty quickly. That gives it so much more value in multiplayer.
It blew my mind how quickly. So for those of you who don't know, I made the suggestion I played with D-Max once and then went in. I was like, yo, we need fist bumping because D-Max or I, probably D-Max, had a really nice shot. And we went to like fist bump each other and our hands kind of, you just went through each other. I was like, we need something there. We need it. And like 2 weeks later it was in.
Oh, it was a solid suggestion. My brothers and I had initially been talking about that because we would have great shots, fist bump each other and be like, oh, I need to get to that. I need to add some kind of effect. But yeah, thank you for bringing that up because that's been a nice welcome addition.
Yeah. And it just makes the multiplayer feel that much better. The throws feel so incredible in this. I know I had played Disc Benders early on, like 2 years before he sort of gave up on that. And that felt pretty good, but this one also feels good. I do tend to turn on mulligans just in case I get that one where I'm like, oh, that's no.
I appreciate it. That was like the main reason I made the game. I really liked Disc Benders as well. Like it was inspiring, honestly. Like one of the ones I played at the beginning where I was like, this is close. This has got really amazing physics. It feels like when I throw the disc, I'm actually throwing at the right speed. And I kind of wanted a little bit better, just a little bit more. And I wanted a little more control over how the disc hit the ground and skipped and all that. So that kind of evolved into me just making a little tech demo. And that tech demo turned into a game. It's been really, really nice.
Yeah, that's incredible. All right. I'll talk more about the things I love in a bit, but let's get into you. How did you discover VR?
Yeah, so I started off with an Oculus Rift. I hadn't heard much before that, but I did have a friend have one of those, the DK2, the developer kit 2. So it was the one right before the Rift. And I was playing around with that. Yes, yeah. See, you got the box. I ended up buying one myself just for like memorabilia. It's back in the closet. But it was that kind of got me super interested because I was playing a lot of the tech demos on there. I was even playing some of the flat screen games that had VR mods. And I was like, this is going to be it. I've wanted to make games for years, and VR is definitely, a great outlet for making games. You can do so much. It's very open-ended, and there's so much that hasn't been done yet too. I love that.
Is disc golf your first game, or did you have some tech demo-y type of games or a full-on game before?
Yeah, so I started out really just kind of working on like tech demo-y stuff. I released way back in the day a little mobile physics game on the iPhone, and that was kind of my first, jumping into to game design and whatnot. But from then on, I was just making side projects. I would get halfway through them. I was making something kind of like what Minecraft was with all the blocks and voxels, and really enjoyed that. That's when I kind of figured out I love procedural generation. And as a solo developer, I kind of rely on it a good bit to give me a lot more power. That was a big part of why I also wanted to make this game, was to put a procedural course in. And that was the first thing that I really was like, I'm going to do this because I want to play infinite courses. I want it to be different every time.
So I will say that was actually next on my list of things I love. The fact you have procedural generated courses, it adds to the replayability of it, right? There's an unlimited number of courses. Like DMAX, though, I tend to do par threes. I like that parameter.
The par threes are like shrunken, larger courses, so they're a little more dense, and it makes for some really, really good holes on. I didn't expect it to, but those are challenging. You will barely catch me going under par on those par threes.
Yeah, I'm definitely not a par player in this game.
It'll get there once you. I feel like putting in this game is the most challenging, but once you get it, it feels kind of natural.
I do think I prefer. I'm probably better at the putting than I feel like I am at driving, and it's mostly because I had the same problems in real life. Like I'm hitting trees and the water, and I'm glad I don't have to go swimming for my disc. Yeah.
That's a big one. I had someone who was playing the other day, and they were telling me if I could only just call my disc back in real life, I'd be saving so much money.
Exactly. So how did you have you always been into disc golf in real life, or was that more recent, or what?
That's kind of more recent. I got into it about 2 years ago. My older brother started picking it up. He's the one kind of helping me on the game. He's going to be making courses for the game as well. But he is the disc golf fanatic. He works at a disc golf shop. He has 300 plus discs on his shelf. He knows his stuff so well with disc golf to where he got me into it, and I really instantly fell in love with the sport because you can go to a course for free. It's you buy your discs one time. It's not like it didn't seem like it's an expensive sport, and it's gotten me to kind of go around the area I live in to new spots, hit those disc golf courses up, and get outside.
Yeah, it's like a nice easy hike usually.
Yeah. Especially when it's hot. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I don't mess around in the heat. That's for sure.
It can get dangerous. I've had a couple of rounds where I'll be like, let me play another 18 holes, and then I'll get done. I'll be like, oh, good Lord, bad mistake.
Yeah. There's one course by me, and I know it's more intense. It's gonna have some water, mud scene, and if my buddy wants to play that one, oftentimes I'll be like, let's go to this other course. It's on like a college campus. It's just 9. It's way easier.
Yeah, I stick to some par 3 courses usually. I want to keep it light. I'm nowhere near as good in real life as I am in this game, which is
yeah. So are you better than your brother in this?
I would say so. I think I play this because I'm testing it almost every other day, trying new things. I will play that course of the day every day, and I got pretty good at this game. In real life, heck no. I mean, he's got me by a mile. He's playing in tournaments. He's doing, he's putting the practice in, and I'm sitting here I might go disc golf this month. We'll see.
Yeah. That's very cool. So you mentioned him helping you with some courses. Are you implementing real courses like that you've played or popular ones out there?
So the first course is one that's kind of an homage to the courses. They're the course that I play, that I kind of call my main course down where I live. I'm like near Atlanta, and it's a very nice. It's a very difficult course. I'd say I've probably only gotten like 1 under on my best day, and it was a great day. Let me tell you. But I tend to model. I modeled that one off of. So it's called Foundry Waters in the game. And it's a beautiful course in real life. I plan to continue to kind of model some off of different courses like that. I know Chris is planning to model one off of a home course that he plays at a ton. It's a challenging one. If he does it right, it'll be something he'll probably use to practice on that course just to make sure he's like, what if I try this shot or that shot?
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely want to do a lot more with course design, because that was a big part of why I made the game as well. I was like, I got some good, decent course ideas. Making a course takes a good bit of time, though.
So one thing is this. I'm not sure if I have definitely not gotten into all the courses. I do normally just play the procedure ones. Are the procedure ones go hole by hole? Is that how the other ones are as well?
Yeah, they go hole by hole. So each hole is its own own scene, so to speak. And you'll go from for each hole, it kind of groups them all into their separate courses. There's only 3 custom courses at the moment, because I was really like, I'm going to get the courses, at least 3 courses done, and then really focus on the physics and nailing down some bugs, because I want this to kind of be a game where people jump in and don't have immediate issues. It'll take a little more time, but I think it's definitely getting closer.
Yeah, I mean, you really jumped into it both with a disc flying game, which is not easy physics to. There's got a lot of math, I imagine.
Yeah, it's got some weird stuff.
And a multiplayer game, which is also not easy to figure out, I imagine.
Oh, this was actually my first multiplayer game. So kind of jumped in. I'm using what's called Photon Fusion, and it's been at first very steep hill to climb to learn how to do it. But once it clicked, and I can add whatever I want at this point, knowing it'll take some time for sure, but
you know what to expect.
Yeah, it's been very useful though. I've enjoyed doing it, but adding multiplayer to a game is a whole nother animal for sure.
And getting that to work smooth. That was actually an issue I had in disc vendors. The first couple times I played, the multiplayer was not easy, and it wasn't working well with my friends. And I was like, all right, now I'm done. But with Hyzer Flip, every single time I played multiplayer, it's worked seamlessly. We're just like, yo, here's our room code. Boom. Me, D-Max, PJ are in.
That's great to hear. That's what I want to hear. I can empathize with disc vendors, because I've had so many problems with trying to figure out one bug that may only happen in multiplayer. So I'll pop out one laptop, I'll have the other computer get two of the versions of it going, and still not probably find it. But
yeah, that's right. Because to replicate it, you need 2 people. Yeah,
or even 3 at sometimes, right. Because I recently added it so it places the players behind the T-pad. And that was just like me dancing around what bug I did next, and what if I fix this, it broke that.
It was one thing led to I gotcha, like a butterfly effect.
Oh yeah, and like all over with multiplayer, it's all over the place when you do that kind of stuff.
So you mentioned time. I do have a question. If time was not a thing, what feature would you like to add most next?
Oh yeah, so this is definitely where I see it going, and I will add this. It's just gonna again take time, and I've been pretty happy about releasing updates quick. This will be like a 2-month blank, 3-month blank, but I really want to add some form of a currency in the game, and a disc golf shop where you can go and buy new discs. And so like right now, you can make any disc you want, right? You can set up any number, you can use any stamp. I want people to be able to get new stamps or earn new stamps for their discs, as well as have like a career bag. And that career bag is something where you would earn the money in tournaments, and then potentially potentially go and buy the discs from the disc golf shop directly. So I kind of have like a big plan for that, but it all has to happen at once, because I can't just throw money in there. I need a reason to spend it, and you need a way to earn money. So it'll be a pretty big update, but
that'll be a whole system to add in. Yeah, that led me naturally to the next question, where I was going to ask if you had a progression system or currency for cosmetics, but you kind of answered it there. Will you add a progression system, like some sort of rank or way to know that you've gotten that what you're putting in the time for, you're getting something back, I guess.
I'd like to put stats in the game as well, and that's kind of, again, it folds right into the currency spectrum, because like I could add all this kind of at once, but having the stats in the game to show you like, here is your rating, because you can get a rating in real life disc golf tournaments, and it would tell you kind of, here's how many putts you made in the circle and how many putts you made outside the circle. Here's how many OB shots you have, and here's how many tournaments you've won and stuff. So I don't know necessarily if I'm going to add like a rank or a kind of a level, but the money that you have will give you the ability to buy new discs, maybe unlock new courses, new gear. The only thing I don't want to do, and I would like to add like in-app purchases for certain stamps, but I don't want to add, pay to play anything. I like, yeah. And it's that one, I definitely don't want to, I don't want to touch it like that. I'd rather it be all cosmetic if you were going to buy it. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Then the whales, the people who love your game, are going to keep buying a lot of the cosmetics. I've run into this in the game Grab, one of my favorite, not really well-known App Lab titles. It's like a parkour game. It's a free-to-play game. And I've bought far too many of the cosmetic packs for a free game.
I've definitely got a few friends who spent some serious money when it comes to cosmetics in games.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like, I know that y'all depend on the whales. So, I can be a whale every once in a while for something.
For sure. Yeah. And I think I could come up with some pretty good stamp ideas. And I've got a animated stamps potentially coming. That was something I remember kind of sharing with you all internally, but it's something that I plan to do and make very, it'll be catchy. People will be like, oh, I want that. I want to be able to throw that.
So that one time I played disc golf at night, and we put little we taped LED lights to our disc, and like we each had a different light and it would blink or whatever. And then basically it was a course we played during the daytime, so we kind of knew the layout, and we just went with it. And that makes me now want a night course with like a light up disc. This is my idea that I thought up on the spot.
So I've got like a whole Trello board of big ideas like this, and that's one of them. Night mode with glowing disc, glowing basket. That'd be a ton of fun. I've looked into it. It'll take some time, but I would love to have that.
I love it. And what's really cool now is you mentioned this game is early, and so if you are out there and interested in disc golf, go pick this game up, join the Discord, and you can be a part of making this game. Basically, it's incredible. D-Max, everybody in the Discord has been very friendly, and I see it's growing. You're getting more and more people in there looking for games.
Yeah, it's been great to see, and it's been thanks to you all as well for kind of showing, like, interacting with the community and making that Discord kind of lively. It's been helping a lot, and I've been seeing a lot of engagement. So, yeah, thank you for what you do as well, making all the suggestions, the fist bump, thank you.
Yeah, I know it takes it's something like 20% into your community does 80% of the work or something. There's some stat like this. So I know it can be important to stay active, and that draws, be the example of what you want people to be in your community, right?
Yeah, and I'm appreciating it because like I'm solo developing this. I'm the only one really coding this. So any suggestions I can get, any feedback, I love hearing it. It's only going to help me, make this game what it should be.
How much time a day are you putting into this? Is this your full-time gig?
No, this is just a side thing. So I still have, the 9 to 5. And then after that, I'm probably putting in a good, 3 or 4 hours. But to me, this is fun. I'm enjoying this. This is like my hobby. So this would be like, I don't know, someone skateboarding or something. I'm over here making a disc golf game.
Wow. That's incredible. That's incredible. Well, hopefully, when it starts taking off and you can flip flop those things,
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, that would be the dream. I would love that.
That sort of makes me think, if and when you finish disc golf, what's a future game you might want to make? So
I really love what this Quest 3 could bring with mixed reality. And I want to think of a good mixed reality game. I feel like there's something just kind of sitting out there that no one's done yet for mixed reality. and it would be, like the next Super Hot or the next Beat Saber that someone hadn't thought about yet. I'd love to find a way to incorporate like furniture and be able to, have some kind of environment generated over your play space. So probably jump into that. I definitely would love to integrate some mixed reality features into disc golf Hyzer flip. I was playing around with pass-through mode a bit, and I got a basket in my room and was putting, and I could see everything around me. So it was a cool.
That's pretty cool. Yeah. Wow.
So
disc golf in your living room. Yeah.
And then hoping that could, be a little easier with the Quest 3. They might give us a little help on the developer side. But yeah, that'd be a fun little feature to add.
Yeah, I am looking forward to the mixed reality of Quest 3. That's really the form factor, yes. The better chip, yes. But the mixed reality, the color pass-through, I've been buying games in preparation for that.
I'm excited. You're going to see some developers have some great ideas out there already. I think I saw one that was like a dude making a roller coaster in his living room.
Yeah, that's one of the ones I bought.
That's an incredible idea. And you can jump into the roller coaster. I'm blown away. That is like the direction I'd love to go, is something like that.
Yeah, that's crazy that you can build the roller coaster and then ride the roller coaster.
Yeah, and then ride it. It's a great idea. It's what every kid wanted to do with the marble set back in the day. But
exactly, yeah.
Great ideas come from mixed reality, I'll tell you. We're gonna see a wave of cool games.
So do you have any advice? So we get some up and coming developers listening to the pod here and there. And what advice would you give to an aspiring developer in creating a VR game, a sports related game, or just generally a game?
Yeah, I'd say don't be afraid of burnout, because I would constantly burn out on projects. Sometimes the project just isn't the one you'll want to actually work on. I was actually afraid of that with this game. But, if the project and the thing you're working on really does bring you the joy enough to work on it, you're going to continue to want to work on it. So, if you burn out and that wasn't the right thing for you, move on, try something else. If there's another project that takes up more of your time and you're enjoying it more than, spending 60% of your time on another, jump over. That's the better project. That's the one that's more attractive. But
go with the flow.
Go with the flow.
Nice. And sorry, I'm beat-bopping all over the place. But I just thought, because you mentioned your brother works in disc golf, is he getting people into VR? Is he getting people into your game? Okay.
Yeah, as he's like selling discs, they'll have like a conversation, and if he hears something about them having an Oculus, he'll be like, "Oh, check this game out." And he's already got a few people who were super interested. He had a couple of his friends try that are big disc golfers, and they gave it some pretty good praise. They were like, this once they figured out the aim assist and started to change a few of the dead zone settings, they were throwing it pretty well and had nothing but good things to say. So yeah, he's definitely awesome. Helping with the word of mouth and he's got the knowledge of disc golf, so that really helps a ton.
Yeah, word of mouth is really how App Lab gets out there. Huh? There's not much to do. They give you no help with marketing, and you've got a long title to type into that. Oh yeah. It was definitely I thought about that for a while when I was like, I could do Disc Golf Pro Tour, but I don't want to be that guy. I was hoping it wouldn't just be App Lab. So maybe one day get to the point where they can just type in disc golf and find it. But yeah, what's that process like? Are you trying to get on the store? Is it just like pray and hope they see you? How's that work? It is more of a pray and hope they see you at this point. They know it's there. They have all these App Lab games, sitting there. So I think that I could reach out to them, ask them, and I might do that. Ask them where it would need to be, what would need to be fixed for me to get it on the actual store. But at the moment, I've seen some very successful like App Lab games, and I plan to eventually release for PC at some point once I've got a lot of the core features ready to go. And that's when a lot of the marketing is going to really start. That's when I'm really going to start pushing. I'm going to start really reaching out to different YouTubers to review it. I want to start engaging with content creators and stuff. I got you. You want to get to a point where you're ready for that. Yeah, and at the moment, the little community we have at the moment is very, very helpful. And if I got like a bug or a small bug here or there, it's not going to be race to fix it. It's thanks to you guys for being able to capture those. But
it's been nice to have that level of a community at the moment while I get it to where it needs to be.
Yeah, everybody feels like they're just trying to help.
It's awesome. I love it.
And they know where the game is, right? Like this game is not 100% polished, right? It's getting there. I do love what you recently added, the rollers. That I was playing around with that today.
That was probably I have these like eureka moments where I'll just be like, how like that fixed the rollers and the skips. Whatever I did there, I could have done that way back, but I had just the smallest inkling to fix this one thing, and it gave me rollers somehow. It's like, wow.
So for the listeners that don't know what a roller is, can you just explain it real quick?
Yeah, so if you throw a disc flat and that disc has a tendency to turn over all the way, and you throw it really hard, you can actually turn the disc over on its side, and the disc will roll forward for a very, very long time. You can see like pros do it. I sure as heck can't, but you can see pros do it, and they'll throw it like 600 feet on the ground and get around. It's more to get away from the trees, because when you throw it up, you're risking, when it's flat, hitting a lot more than you would if it's thin and going across through trees. So it's a specific type of shot. I was planning to not be able to support it because of all the weird. The disc would bounce, it would flip, it would get crazy, and it wouldn't look real. But somehow this
it's like ragdoll physics for a disc.
Yeah, you'd be like, okay, that's just not how a disc reacts. That's wrong. But once I got this little fix in, it allowed me to throw those rollers and increase the spin of the disc. So I feel like it's been great. I was like, oh, maybe I'll use this every now and then. I'm using it like almost every game, at least once or twice.
Oh, nice. Yeah, it definitely looks a lot more natural now. And
I'm enjoying
feels
it.
Better. Yeah.
I'm going to keep improving that ground play too. I think there's a few more things I'd like to get right. I know there's when the disc skips, there's definitely a little reaction in real life where it kind of flips up a bit and pushes itself backwards. So I'm going to look into doing something like that. But for now, I'm pretty happy with where things are.
God, there's so much math on that. That's all I'm thinking about. Is like, everything is just math.
I feel like it was a lot of luck too, because the math, it came straight from like a paper. And I tried a couple things from that still didn't work. And I just had to kind of mash a bunch of logic about disc flying together, and it just ended up working. I remember there was one day where I had a flashlight or what's it, a light bulb that had
epiphany,
figured it out, and it started working. And that's when I was like, maybe I could make a game out of this. Went from like a tech demo to just a game.
What's your development process like? Are you coming up with ideas, or do you get feedback from the Discord and working on things day by day? Are you working on one thing at a time? What's your process like?
So kind of like a mesh of both. I'm loving some of the ideas that are coming from the Discord. So if I get like a good one, like we had one of our new guys suggest something that is going to show up in the next update, because I like the idea so much. But
that was the par.
It's going to show you like birdie or par right above the basket. It's just one of those small features. It's not super hard to do, and it gives so much extra to the game. That's what makes like Walkabout Mini Golf such an amazing game. They have all these small little flashy particle effects. But in general, I have like a whole backlog of large items that I try to tackle at least one or two per update. But a lot of them are I've got them separated into like large and then epic, and epic is where like the money system would come into play. So I'll usually kind of pick and choose a few of them, but for the most part I kind of have a roadmap in my mind, just fixing bugs along the way and taking these small suggestions in from the Discord.
Nice. And how often are you hopping into the game from being using Unity?
Yeah. So okay. I'm actually I try to set it up so I don't have to hop in the game as much, and when I do, as long as I'm not messing with anything VR related, I can still test in Unity's little editor and test out some of the smaller features, like that one I just implemented with the birdie, the par. That one was super easy to test without the headset. Right. But yeah, it can get a little challenging going back and forth and back and forth.
Yeah, and I find that I really don't want to be facing my TV when I'm playing this game. I'm like the one time where I let my arm go. I'm like, no, where am I facing? Make sure you got the space.
Oh yeah. Then don't have cups around. I smacked this cup far across the room.
Exactly. That said, you don't need that much space, but you don't want things right in front of you for sure that are expensive.
No, yeah, and if you don't have the space, we still got the slingshot mode. So that was the
right. Yeah, what is? You want to talk about that a little bit?
Describe so the slingshot mode. I knew not everyone wants to throw full power, and that was what I made this game to do. But I also know people would want to play that probably don't have the space or the ability to throw like that. So I made a slingshot mode where you just press and hold down a button, and you can pull it back. And as you pull it back, it shows you the power level, and you can choose forehand or backhand with the trigger, and then just let it go, and it'll fly. It'll shoot it plenty far. You can compete with everybody. It's a little bit easier because you're able to aim 100%. Yeah. You can see where you're going, but you do lose the ability to, I can throw a disc upwards while flat. You can't really do that with a slingshot mode. It's going to aim the face of the disc towards where it's going.
That makes sense. I did switch to slingshot mode. It was like the second day I was playing, and my arm was freaking torn, man.
Ooh.
It was so much throwing, and D-Max was getting on me about my form. My form's fine. I'm just out of shape.
This game doesn't need perfect form. You just really need to be able to flick your wrist hard. As long as you can do something like that. And I wouldn't say take this game and translate it into real life unless it helps. Mm-hmm. But in general, you're throwing a disc, you're releasing some of that momentum in the disc. You don't have that with the VR. So you got to be a little more careful about, tweaking your arm. I constantly, when I'm doing forehands, might accidentally tweak my shoulder or my arm. And yeah, it's got to be a little careful. Don't throw it too hard. I didn't make it so that you have to you can throw it 100% very smooth.
Yeah. I do like the grip. It feels like when I let go of the grip, I feel like I'm letting go of the disc with the same fingers. I don't know how those people play with the button push. So I get why it's there, but I don't know how they do it.
So I actually do play with the button push.
Yeah. How do you do it? How do you do it?
I don't know what it is, but I played like that at Disc Benders was the first game that I played with the button push. And I just got used to that because it gave me more of I know exactly where I'm going to release it. The grip it has the dead zone and you can adjust that in the game, but even still being able to tell exactly where to release, it's a little tricky. And I could still play with grip. I think I'm just better with the button, and I'm too.
You know what? That's probably why I like the mulligan, because there is every once in a while the throw where I'm like, oh, that is not where I wanted to release that disc, and so I'm just like, boom, mulligan. I'm gonna do that again. But yeah, that makes sense. All right, I get it now. I get it.
Yeah. No, it's to each their own. I wanted to give options. So
yeah, it just feels weird to open my thumb while I'm throwing. So I'd have to get used to it.
No, it is definitely something you would want to get used to. I've tried to get my brother to do it several times. He's like, no, I'm doing the grip. That's how I do it.
Okay. So that makes there's no way I play disc golf as much as your brother, but that makes me feel good that it's because I imagine I play disc golf.
Yeah. Oh yeah. 100%. That's the way it should have. That's the way it has to be. You throw a disc by releasing the grip. That's for sure.
So talking about the UI, so you pull up your watch, right? And then that pulls up your settings, your multiplayer, and all that. And you get a laser. Have you thought about making that touchscreen?
Ooh, no, I hadn't. Wow. That wouldn't be too hard either.
So I was just in it today, and I was kind of messing with it. I'm like, I just want to push. It makes your finger already out indent or pointed, and yeah.
I like that. I'm gonna look into that. That should be a thing. I know Oculus did that with their home menu recently, and
that's what it made. Yeah, exactly.
I didn't even realize that you could still do it with your controller on. So totally, yeah. I'm gonna take that into consideration. Throw that on the Trello board.
I like it, and I think they added an SDK where you can import a keyboard. I don't know if that would help at all, but that was also something I believe they added.
Yeah, so I made this game with OpenXR instead of Oculus or Steam VR or any of those. I
Mhm.
really wanted to do as cross-platform as I could because I would like to reach as many headsets as possible. But I try to avoid using Oculus tools unless I need to for like pass-through. I will need to
Mhm.
jump in and do some Oculus tools there. But
Right, because
in
it kind of
general, yeah.
pigeonholes you.
Yeah, and I'd like to, I want to get this on Steam VR. I want to get it. I'd like to get it on the Windows Store with the help of you and DMAX there. I don't really have a Windows device or Windows headset to test.
Yeah. He loves his
WMR.
reverb.
Yeah, I used to have one of those. It wasn't my thing. Wasn't my thing.
Yeah, one of my buddies, who's a Kai, friend of the show, he put me in his reverb for. It was one of the first times he was showing me VR, his PC VR setup before I had that, and it looked nice, but it wasn't for me. I was like, this. I don't want the wire.
It was a beautiful like display and everything. Like it was very high quality, but I felt like the tracking was rough,
Yeah.
and the I didn't like Windows Mixed Reality's portal. It wasn't. I guess I was just too used to Oculus and all that. That might be my
I think
downfall.
my buddy had put me in. He set up base stations with the index controllers, so that he uses those with his reverb usually, which I guess helps. And I get that it's more clear, but I love the wireless play. So
Yeah, I do too. Once that hit, that was all I did was wireless, virtual desktop, all that. It was game changer.
Yeah. Quite literally. So what do you have planned for disc golf, both in the short term? What can people expect in the next month or two, changes wise, and long term?
Yeah, so in the next update, I'm hoping I'm going to get in that birdie, the par, the little effect for that. I've got a few bug fixes that I ran into that I cleaned up, and I'm really trying to work on a solution for this. I want to do hole previews. I've been getting a lot of feedback saying people want hole previews. Totally makes sense. You don't want to throw blindly. So I'm trying to experiment with like a top-down camera over each hole, and this is the alternative, is a drone flyby of each hole. So I think that one may win. It seems a little bit better, and the top-down approach, it's a little messy. It's going to show some parts of the level I don't really want shown.
Right.
And then, but a drone fly through, I think would be plenty. It gives people, you can see where the shot should be, and you get a full view of the course.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
What I think disc benders, they had a cloud you could ride, right?
Yeah. I kind of I liked it. I didn't really, I didn't use it as much. I think I was I knew those courses like the back of my hand. I played that like all the time.
Yeah, I didn't use it much either, but I do remember that's how he had dealt with that. And how about long term?
Yeah, long term, definitely really focusing on nailing down how to do that money system and get something like currency implemented, some way to play tournaments, and some way to get that currency with your friends in a skins match and multiplayer.
Oh boy.
Yeah,
boy.
Get a little betting going on just for or put a disc up for a bet.
I like that. Yeah. I haven't. I brought my discs out for the background here, and I haven't yet done it, but I do want to add in the discs I use, like put their stats in, and I'm curious if it will help my real game. Like, I'm curious if it feels the same as me throwing this. This mid range goes straight. And that's what I'm looking for. I am learning how the discs you built into the game are flying, like how the orange, the driver and the putters. I am definitely learning how they fly.
Yeah, those I put in because I feel like those are some good default discs. I've used, that's like the Buzz, the Zone, all the classic discs that someone might bag, and I got a couple adjustments I'll make probably to like maybe make the putter a little more overstable because it goes a little straight. Mm-hmm. But in general, I've got my bag kind of mimicking my bag in real life a bit. There's definitely less discs, but I found they're like, it's kind of reliable. It's more like if I was a pro and I was throwing really, really fast, it's probably going to go to the right a lot more in real life than it would in my game. But everybody's throwing like a pro in this game. That's how it's gonna work.
That's a good tagline right there. Mm-hmm. Disc golf, Hyzer flip. Everybody's throwing like a pro.
That's solid. Ooh.
Yeah, you came up with it.
I gotta write all this down.
Right. Can you share any interesting or like memorable stories or anecdotes from your development journey of the game so far?
Yeah, I think probably the biggest one was when I was really really trying to just mess with the disk physics, get it right. I thought it was good enough. It was okay. It wasn't what I wanted, but it was good enough. And I think I changed a couple parameters, added in a line of code, and boom, I was like actually playing disc golf in VR, and I was like, okay, this is going to be a thing. I could start making a course because I have the disc physics working. And,
so were you just in like a void throwing discs?
Oh yeah. No, I was just like, it was just a flat grassy area. I was just testing out to see them go. And then once that happened, immediately I started working on that first course, Wind Wake Valley. It's the medium tier course in the custom courses. And I was just like, yep, this is going to start being a game. So yeah, I have that moment tagged in my developer history. It's definitely, I got that day set.
I like it. And that probably became the driving range.
Yeah, that exactly did. Yeah, that giant open area. Yeah. I should have done the driving range to start with. That would have been a really useful tool back in the day.
I was wondering if that was the first thing you did until you finished your story.
Oh, it was just that Wind Wake Valley course for a while, and I was still trying to piece together how I was gonna get it all working. And I was also just messing around with other fake levels. I threw in a couple of Ocarina of Time levels, threw in a Super Mario, Bomb Battlefield, put a few disc baskets up in those. So I would love for someone one day to like mod this game so that I can see that content out there. Cause I can't put that out there, but
yeah. What do you need to make mods available or to make, that I have no idea for game wise.
I've got to check. I think there might be Unity assets or something that could help with that. But in general, I think it might just be something I could whip together where, I load external files from the user. But I haven't really looked into that much. I would love for it to happen. That's kind of lower on the list of, that's probably after I get all the major stuff done.
Yeah. You need not everybody in the community is going to be modders, right? You generally have a few of them, and so a bigger community. But yeah, that would be cool. I was thinking the custom disc design. See, there's a lot of, I don't know, what do you call them? The
stamps, the
artwork
on the top. Yeah,
exactly. So there's a bunch of different stamps you can customize the discs with. You can do all the colors and all that. But I was wondering if there's a way to like side load your own images, but then I was like, this is probably copyright infringement all over that.
No, honestly, it would be interesting. People wouldn't be able to see it in multiplayer, I have to like kind of put them in a list and make sure each stamp is in a certain order, so everybody will get the same stamps no matter what. Some might be locked to some other people, but yeah, eventually I'd like to do that. That would be pretty neat to be able to have people upload their own stamps and content like that. I'd have to look into it though. I'm one person, so having like legal issues, all that, I'm not looking for any trouble.
Nothing here. I'll shut it down, Nintendo.
Yeah,
I'll shut it down.
Yeah, don't look here.
Awesome. Well, I do have one patron question from one of our patrons, and you know him well, D-Max. And he asks, what drives you to make the physics as good as you can make them in this game? It really does seem to continually improve with each update.
Oh, thank you, man. That's a really great question. That is the main reason I'm making this game. I want like a really realistic VR disc golf game. And I want it that, if the physics aren't right, the game's not going to be fun. I don't want to see people getting upset about physics, breaking, or seeing something that they're like, that's not how a disc would do that in real life. If there are suggestions that anyone has to like the physics, the way the discs fly, I'm all about hearing it, because I just want this game to be as close to real life as I can make it, and it's fun too.
Yeah, it's definitely fun. Yeah, I'm way more. I'm not going to notice really if a disc is fun. If it felt really off, I'd notice. But it is good enough where I'm like, I'm not really picking up on anything else. I'm more on the social side, like the fist bumps. Like how can I? What are the things not disc golfing that I can do in this?
Yeah, there's plenty. I keep getting ideas. I need to keep writing them down. There's so many different ways that things can go, and different big ideas that could be implemented in this game. So trying to organize all that is a fun task. But
yeah, I can only imagine. I do not have the organization skills to be a developer, and just having the short term things you're working on combined with the long term, balancing all that, and doing a full time gig. More. It's not easy what you're trying to do.
I appreciate it. It's been fun. I wouldn't do it if I didn't have fun doing it. And making this game's been a joy. So and meeting people like you through this game's been even better.
Thank you. Yeah,
you and D-Max,
it's been great to join the Discord, see that is slowly grow, and thank you, D-Max, for showing me this game, buying it for me, and introducing us.
Of course, yeah. Thank you, D-Max.
One final question, and it's not related to the game. What games do you like to play in VR? If you have the time.
So yeah, I've slowed down a bit because I've really gotten into this. Once I get into a developer groove, it's I'm 100% in that. But I used to play Pavlov. I play Walking Dead, Saints and Sinners. I loved Half-Life Alyx. Really big on the shooter games. I love games with procedural generation, but games like Super Hot kind of got me. I was like that was a game jam game that someone that was a great idea. Popped in their head. They made a game for it, and it made billions. So
the first time I heard about Super Hot, I think my friend had played on Xbox, and I only knew the VR version. And in my head, I'm like, how did you even play this game outside of VR? What is this game like? Yeah, because the whole point of it is VR to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that the first time I played that game, I was like, this is something else. So yeah, I really like games that kind of drive that factor. That's usually where I'll end up. But I'm open to any game. Throw something at me if you've got any suggestions. I'd love to play with y'all if you want to jump in. I am a huge fan of Walkabout Mini Golf. I love that game.
Yeah, that's a big one for me and the Let's Talk Oculus Discord. That one. I do play a lot of Synth Riders. That's usually my go-to for getting a sweat in, getting my workout in. I've been playing a good amount of Among Us, but I'm getting sick of that map. But the new map's coming out in like 10 days, so I'm looking forward to that one. And then, gosh, Breachers. I've gotten very into Breachers.
I have yet to play it, but I keep hearing so much good stuff about it. I'm about to buy that. That's gonna
It is crazy because I do not like first-person shooters mostly. I'm generally pretty bad at them. I'll play them if my friends want to play them. But Breachers, I'm like decent at, and I really love. So,
I've heard good things. It looks like they've got a pretty strong community going too. They got a lot of people interested in this game.
Oh, for sure. And they're being pretty consistent with their updates. We want that new map, but the new game mode's pretty fun. I got to figure out the pacing though, because I got spanked around the other night when I played it.
I'll be ready. I'm nowhere near the best at any of those shoot 'em up games. I like playing them, but yeah, you'll see me a little frustrated from just getting rocked all the time by anyone.
Yeah, I don't mind getting rocked by my friends. Like if people I know are in the entire lobby, great. But if we're only one team and we're getting spanked by like a bunch of kids or somebody else by the other team, I'm not having this.
Yeah, you're like, I'm getting frustrated. This
exactly.
was fun a moment ago.
All right, I got one or two more questions from D-Max here. Sorry, he's sending them in at like basically live. I feel like I'm on TV here. So tell us about the music in the game. There's a good handful of tracks to choose from in addition to the nature sounds. Where does it come from? Is there any future plans for
that? That is made by Chris himself. He is a part-time DJ as well. He likes making his own music, and he's incredibly good at it. So, been very happy with what he's produced. We're gonna kind of cycle tracks in and out. So, you may see some of the same tracks you do, but we're gonna try to keep the list a little small, so we get kind of some seasonal rotations going on. But he's been very active with that, and I really appreciate all the work he put into those. And expect some more coming. I think he's working on a new track list.
You could what's Walkabout kind of has a track for each course, right?
Oh yeah.
I
mean, I'm hoping we'll have a bit more than that, but I do. Yeah. I would like to have a few more variations in sounds. Like the forest sounds, those are nice. They can get a little old. I'd like to have a little like maybe some wind or something like that. That's once wind gets in the game, I'll throw a wind track in there.
That I didn't mean to ask about that, so I'm glad you brought that up. So right now there's no wind in the game, correct?
No, currently no wind. Definitely a plan to implement that. That is that's high up in the list. It affects the physics a lot, so that's why I'm a little hesitant to jump into it at this point. I'm always a little scared to touch the physics, but it will happen at some point. Wind's a big factor in disc golf, so
yeah,
wouldn't want to miss that one.
That'll be tough. I'm ready. Yeah, dealing with wind is hard. That's for sure. Because you just see the disc just start sailing away.
And there's always some weird after effects. Like I've had the disc just literally just fly all forever. It'll never never come down. Well, something's wrong.
It'll even affect the roller, like it'll push. Yeah.
And it should. That's like where I have to really look at what angle the disc is at. Where's the wind coming from? It's gonna be headache, but I'm gonna do it. It's gonna happen.
So much math, man.
Yeah.
So much math.
It's worth it when you get to that end goal.
I know I've said last question a million times, but D-Max did come in with one more that I wanted.
Sure.
And what's next for multiplayer in Hyzer Flip? He says it's a cool hangout, and I'll agree with him on there. And it's bound to draw more people in. So would you have any plans for developing?
Yeah. So part of another reason, or besides adding more variations to the actual disc golf play, like skins matches and match play and stuff like that, I do really want to have some mini games. I've got, I have one in the works right now that would be like beer pong disc golf, where the baskets are all set up like the cups would be, and you'll be on opposing sides trying to make each other's players' baskets. Yeah. So just small mini games like that. I can have several ideas for the driving range where you could challenge someone else to like hit this ring in the air first or something like that, or get it close to the pin.
Right.
Small contests, small things like that. So yeah, I want to throw some mini games in there too. Kind of like not leave putting challenge all by itself.
Yeah. And that will go well with your monetization, the gambling scene.
Oh yeah, there you go. You start betting things.
You could even have the free like a frequency plan, like how Poker Stars. You log in every day, you spin that dial, you get a free number of coins to get people. Even if they're just hopping in to spin that thing, you got to figure somebody's going to stay and play around.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I can totally see stuff like that popping up for once the currency system comes in, and even before that, like with stats. I would love like you hit, that's your 100th putt. You take a free spin, get a free disc, like stuff like that would be awesome.
Oh yeah, achievements.
Yeah,
I never realized how crazy achievements were. I'm like kind of into it. I'm not really 100%ing a lot of games, but I do like getting the achievement. Like in Among Us VR, when I got my 500th task completed, I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. All right,
I did it. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm also in the same boat. I'm not a huge personally. I don't really care that much about achievements, but I see the value in them for certain games. I see how like like Among Us, for example. It seems like that would be motivational. You'd be like, okay, I'm going to keep going.
Exactly. Well, Nick, thank you so much for joining us on Let's Talk Oculus. Maybe when you're further down the development trail, we'll have you back.
Would love it.
Thank you so much. Do you have anything you want to plug other than your game?
No, I mean, just the Discord community. Would love if anyone wants to join, meet up, and play around with us. We're free. We would love to have you there. And yeah, thank you so much for having me on here. Hope to come on soon and talk to you more about stuff.
Yeah, thanks for joining. Shout out to D-Max one last time. Thanks for getting me this game, getting us in touch. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.